Good morning, Mega Podlings. It's Crazy Joe. It is Crazy After Dark time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Wednesday. No, it is Tuesday. I forgot we do this on Tuesday now. That's all right. I'll get my days straight. One of these days. Oh, and I got my volume on here. There we go. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the party. It is Tuesday. Gary is here. Welcome, Gary. Good to see you. Get some of this water here. It's Tuesday on Mega Podtastic. It's Crazy Joe and Gary in the chat with Super Chat Hippo and the Enterprise. So, how is everyone doing this evening? It is. Does anyone else feel like we're living in Groundhog Day? Like every day is just the same as the other. Like that is what this whole thing reminds me of. This whole period of isolation we're going through. It's like, hey, we're living in Groundhog Day. That's how I feel. Gary says someone better let Super Chat Hippo sing. James says, nice Enterprise plush. Thank you. That's from the Hallmark store. It's from their Itty Bitties collection. And, Worf and Picard come out of there. I don't know. I've always thought I'd hang it up somewhere, but I don't know where to hang it. There's a lot of stuff around the bar that you guys can't see because it's... right now, the entire bar is cluttered. There's like crap everywhere. The bar is totally cluttered. You can't see it because it's all out of... your range of vision. Like I got the trivia questions here from when I did Instagram trivia, which I got to do again. Super Chat Hippo is here. I got Windex. There's a bottle of Windex here. I've got Kleenex. Check out my DC Comics Kleenex box. This is like 3 years old. Every time it empties, I just refill it because why would I get rid of that tissue box? I've got a Han and Carbonite bottle opener over here. I've got a water-damaged DVD of the 4400 Season 1. I've got nasal decongestant, water, a mouse shaped like a butterscotch tasty cake crimpet, a couple of Tron action figures. I've got cleaner that, for pet vomit and stuff. A beta copy of Star Trek V. My handy-dandy notebooks over here. I've got all these cassette tapes. Like, you can't see. I've got a Coke bottle with my wife's name on it. I've got a Coke bottle with my name on it. This is all the stuff that you can't see that is surrounding me right now. Toucan Sam Pop-Tarts. Fruit Loops Pop-Tarts. Tide Pods. This is all within reach. Anyway. Noah's here. Hello, Noah. Brandon's here. Hey, Joe, I'm currently enjoying the most popular movie of 1999. That's right, The Hurricane. Well, we can do some trivia about that if you'd like. Punk Nerd. Welcome, Punk Nerd. He's doing his homework now. Eternal Harmony's here. Doing good, Eternal Harmony. How are you? David Rembert is here. Welcome. James says, a couple nights ago I watched Way of the Gun. I didn't like this film. There's nothing beneath its core, and it's a generic action movie. James, it's really funny you should mention Way of the Gun because I remember when it came out, I saw it with a bunch of friends. Dave Perillo was one of them. Dave Perillo went with me when we saw that in the theater. What was that, 98? 98 or... Yeah, I'm thinking it was 98. But anyway, he liked it. And my friend Mike was there. You've never seen Mike on this channel. You guys wouldn't know Mike, but... My friend Mike was there, and I think there were a couple other people. Basically, I'm the only one who didn't like the movie. I walked out and I was like, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I don't know what it was. I didn't like it. But in the time since then, the director, Christopher McQuarrie, has gone on to make several really, really good movies, including the last couple Mission Impossible movies and Live, Die, Repeat. The guy is mega talented. He's so good. And I never watched Way of the Gun a second time. I saw it in the theater 20 years ago or more. Never watched it again. And I've found myself thinking over the last couple of years, maybe it's high time I give Way of the Gun another shot. Because it has been 20 years. I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. Who's to say it's not going to hit me differently than it did 20 years ago? And I totally recognize Christopher McQuarrie's talent. So, I don't know. I think I got to watch that again. But James was not a fan. James was not a fan. Zach Movie Collection is here. Welcome, Zach. James says, Fruit Loops Pop-Tarts is Kellogg's having a cinematic universe. These things are crazy good, too. Like, they're really, really delicious. And they're only for a limited time. So get them while you can. And quite frankly, they shouldn't be for a limited time. This should be a permanent item because it's delicious. Noah says, watched Some Like It Hot for the first time. Loved it. Watched Doctor Strangelove for the first time and thought it was fine. You know, Some Like It Hot was my father's all-time favorite movie. He used to cite that as his favorite movie. Toaster Burner says, Westworld Season 3 just got amazing after this week's episode. I've never seen a single episode of Westworld. I saw the movie years ago. Many, many years ago. I barely remember the movie. But I've thought recently I should probably watch the movie again and then dive into the TV show. Eternal Harmony says, just finished watching The Gate from 1987 for the first time and enjoyed it. Are you a fan of it? I don't remember if I saw The Gate. I don't think I saw The Gate. But I've heard of it, so it's something I should check out. Gary says, I want a cinematic universe starring Count Chocula and Frankenberry. You gotta have Fruit Brute there. It's no good without the Fruit Brute. Fruit Brute is delicious. James says there needs to be a Frosted Flakes Pop-Tart. I don't know. Frosted Flakes... I don't know that the taste of Frosted Flakes is unique enough to transfer to another form. Because it's basically just Corn Flakes with frosting on them. I don't know how you would replicate that kind of a taste. I think Fruit Loops has that fruity thing that's easy to kind of replicate. Lisa is here. Aubrey is here. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Aubrey. Aubrey, did you... I forgot to check Instagram. I don't know if you responded. I sent you a message on Instagram. But I told you how you can get the easiest way to get our podcast now. The absolute easiest way. To anyone who has not listened to the Mega Podtastic podcast yet, we're available wherever you get podcasts. Apple Podcasts. You can get us in Stitcher. You can get us in iHeartRadio. I submitted ourselves to Spotify, but I don't think we're in Spotify yet. But we're now on Alexa. So all you have to do is say, hey, Alexa, or you don't say, hey, that's Siri. You say, Alexa, play the Mega Podtastic podcast. It'll just start playing our most recent episode. There you go. We're right there. We're right on your Alexa now. Henry says, plastic lunchboxes. Oh, that hurt. What about them? What about them? Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. I don't know. Toaster Burner says, checking in from Eastern PA. Oh, welcome. Stay safe. I'm in Eastern PA too. James says, hey Joe, ever seen Say Anything? It's a great romantic comedy. Yes. John Cusack. It's a good movie. It's not my favorite John Cusack movie though, because that would be Better Off Dead. But yeah, it's a good one. Punk Nerd says, do I like Billie Eilish? I am not at all familiar with Billie Eilish. I don't know. So it's a woman, right? I don't know much about her. I don't. She's a musician, I think, but I don't think I've heard any of her music. Henry says, don't you have an aversion to them? To plastic lunchboxes? Well, I don't like plastic lunchboxes. I like my lunchboxes metal. I do have two. I got a couple of plastic lunchboxes, but not many, not many, because they're just not special. They're just not special. They slapped a sticker on a piece of plastic. The artistry, the creativity. You get one picture and one picture only, and it's slapped on by a sticker. It's not the same. It's just not the same as a good metal lunchbox where you have an image on every side and they're unique pictures. James says, ever seen Blast from the Past? It's my favorite romantic comedy. I saw it years ago. Brendan Fraser. On Letterboxd, I saw someone did a review of Looney Tunes Back in Action. I had just rewatched Looney Tunes Back in Action recently. Showed it to my daughter. She loved it. And I wrote a review, and I saw someone else wrote a review, and they wrote, this movie is so much better than Space Jam. But Space Jam has achieved this weird cult status, and this movie's been mostly forgotten. And it's completely true. Completely true. Space Jam, fairly terrible movie. But it's a fairly terrible movie that suddenly has had this strange fan base pop up around it. But then you got Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is a far superior film, and you don't hear much about it. So someone in the comments writes, well, that's because Space Jam has Michael Jordan and blah, 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 blah. I just named basketball players. Basketball players. And then says, and Looney Tunes Back in Action has Brendan Fraser. That's why one's forgotten and the other's a big hit. And I'm reading this and I'm like, you just made the opposite argument of the one you wanted to. Like a movie with basketball players versus a talented actor. Kind of says it all. But anyway. Let's see. Punk Nerd says CS has no idea what Tubi is. Well, he won't stream anything. He is a religious zealot for the physical media. Don't get me wrong. I like physical media, but everything's got its place. They can all work together. Like Rocky said, they fill gaps. I got gaps. She's got gaps. We fill gaps. That's what Rocky said, right? Well, the digital and the streaming, they fill gaps. So it's it all works together. Lisa says, Blast from the Past is good. Everyone needs a secret bomb shelter to dance with Christopher Walken. Oh, Frank Castle says, what cartoons are you into now? What current cartoons am I into? I've been watching a ton of the 2012 Ninja Turtles cartoon lately because my daughters are obsessed with it all of a sudden. But I mean, I watch Rick and Morty. I watch the Mike Tyson mysteries. But other than that, I don't think I've been watching too much in the realm of recent cartoons. I like Star Wars. The Star Wars Resistance is pretty good. I know it's over, but I'm not caught up yet. Let's see. Jim says Space Jam was huge in the 90s. Yeah, but Jim, I don't know how old you are, Jim. I don't know if you're the same age as me, but you know, I'm 44. So I remember in the 90s the movie came out and everyone hated it. Like it was this movie that it came out and nobody liked it. Critics gave it poor reviews and it kind of was just like, okay, yeah, it's Looney Tunes guys playing basketball. This isn't that good, but it sold merchandise. I think a lot of kids bought the merchandise, but the general opinion was this movie's not very good. To the point that when Looney Tunes Back in Action was shooting, Joe Dante, one of my all-time favorite directors, Joe Dante was the director of Space Jam. No, he was the director of Back in Action, and he was promoting it to the press as the anti-Space Jam. Like that was one of their talking points in selling the movie was, don't worry, this one's not like Space Jam. But the funny thing is, as the years went on, suddenly Space Jam developed this weird cult following to the point where now they're talking Space Jam 2. And it's like, in the 90s, you never would have heard them talking Space Jam 2 because the general vicinity was, well, that kind of sucked. So it's strange how times change. They took a thing that was not beloved, and then 20 years later, suddenly it's got this strange cult following behind it. Toaster Burner says Space Jam is a popular cult movie because of basketball culture and basketball fans and Bill Murray. Let's see. Punk Nerd says, check out Nintendo Quest on Tubi. It's good, about a guy trying to get all the Nintendo games in 30 days. I saw that a couple of years ago. It's pretty good, but it's not one of my favorite documentaries. I'll tell you, here's a documentary that's streaming on Tubi right now for free, and one that, you're welcome, I helped make it. I backed the Kickstarter. What We Left Behind, the documentary about Deep Space Nine. What We Left Behind, the Deep Space Nine documentary, streaming free on Tubi TV right now. And I was a backer, so you're welcome. Go check it out, though. If you love Deep Space Nine, it's a terrific documentary. Henry says, speaking of walking, $5 a day was decent. I have not seen $5 a day. James says, what's your thoughts on Captain N? I remember seeing it back in the early 2010s. Captain N, the Game Master, the old cartoon. It was okay. I mean, I used to watch it, but I don't think I ever loved it. It was one of those shows that I watched it because it was on. It's like, why do they climb the mountain? Because it is there. I watched it because it was on. Not because it was particularly good, though. It was all right. Jim says, I was 9 years old when it came out and a big Jordan fan, so it was big for my age group. You see, that must be it, because when the movie came out, I was in college. And that's the thing. It must have hit kids different than it hit like the college and up age, because I remember all the conversation around that movie was how terrible it was. But when you're in college and having conversations about movies, it's not usually with kids. So I think it looks like the kids that liked that movie grew up and it's a cult favorite. Whereas like I was in my 20s when it came out, and I remember everybody who had grown up with Looney Tunes, like Looney Tunes fans were like, well, this isn't really feel like Looney Tunes. This feels like something, I don't know. It's got to be a generational thing where it just hit the generation that saw it young in the right spot, and the older audience, it didn't hit us right. But I remember seeing Back in Action, Looney Tunes Back in Action, and being like, this is more like it. This is much more like it. Jim says, when I watch it now, it's definitely not a good movie, but nostalgia. Yeah, that makes sense. Lisa says, oh my God, thank you for the Tubi TV suggestion, Joe. Spent Sunday watching comic relief specials in Gallagher. Tubi TV's got so much good stuff. And TNT with Mr. T. He's Turner, she's Taylor. Together they are TNT. Every episode up on Tubi. Joey Baseball says, I don't like Bill Murray. He talked trash about Garfield. And well, he should have. It was a crappy movie. Henry says, no more Target movies, but Dollar Tree leftovers. Wait, Target's getting rid of movies? I did not hear this. Backwind says, hey Joe, sorry for showing up late. I was doing an essay for English class. Backwind English class is far more important than we are. And also, even if you don't catch us live, we'll be here. We'll be here. This is going to live on. Unless I say something I completely regret, in which case I will delete this and we will never speak of it. When the video comes out of me choking someone and, then this video will disappear and we won't speak of it. That was an Ezra Miller joke. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about Ezra Miller. Gary says, Joe, did you get your name in the credits for What We Left Behind? I remember that being a perk at a certain level. You know what? I should have, Gary. I think I picked the wrong option because like you had to choose like a certain option to get your name in the credits. And because I looked into it after the fact, because I was looking for my name in the credits, and then I found it wasn't there, and I went back into the I think it was Indiegogo. I went back into the Indiegogo account and found it, and I found the option I chose, and it didn't include name in the credits. But for the same dollar amount that I spent, there was another option that included get your name in the credits. So for what I spent, I could have had my name in the credits, but apparently I just clicked the wrong spot. And it didn't happen, which is disappointing, especially because I didn't know, and I'm sitting there looking for my name, and it wasn't there. Joey says Space Jam isn't even bad, though. I would disagree with that. Gary says, I saw Space Jam when I was 4 or 5. What do you think of it now, Gary? That's the question. Did you grew up with it? Do you love it now? Henry says, you don't have... Wait. Punk Nerd says, I grew up with Space Jam. Maybe then again, I like terrible movies. I think Henry's asking Punk Nerd. Punk Nerd does not have Dollar Trees because he is in Hawaii. So I feel bad that he doesn't have Dollar Trees, but I can't feel too bad because he's in Hawaii. I'm in Philadelphia. I would trade my Dollar Trees for Hawaii like that. Just saying. James says, did you know that Superman had an Atari 2600 game? I think I did. Backwin says, I'm praying to God New Mutants gets a movie release. I have a feeling that if New Mutants came out in theaters, most people wouldn't see it due to the failure of Dark Phoenix. Backwin, I did a whole video on New Mutants, and I think New Mutants, the perfect spot to put New Mutants is just have it ready to go as soon as the theaters open. As soon as like our self-contained exile is done and the theaters open up again, release it right away. Because with every other movie bumped, the theaters need something to show. They need movies because everything got bumped. What are the theaters going to show when they reopen? There's nothing playing. So they need something. You put New Mutants out. If it's the first thing and people have been sitting itching in their houses and they're getting stir crazy and they want to get out, that is going to be such a boon for that movie. That movie would do so. J2H and I said it on the podcast. Whatever the first movie to come out after all this is going to do gangbusters business because people want to get out of their houses. And I think that's the perfect spot for New Mutants. I'll tell you this. If New Mutants... I mean, Artemis Fowl gets bumped to Disney+. Who cares? Who cares? I don't know. Maybe you're a huge Artemis Fowl fan. I don't know. I didn't care about Artemis Fowl. But a movie I want to see on the big screen. And I've been waiting now like 3 years to see New Mutants. If after 3 years I get deprived of seeing it on the big screen, I'm going to be pissed, man. I'm going to be pissed. But anyway, it definitely deserves a big screen release. So it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Although the concept of New Mutants is awesome, it would be cool to see if we get many different side effects of the mutations because their gifts have been a blessing and a curse. Ooh, Kyle says, Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Kyle. James says, hey, Joe, ever heard of the Atari Lynx? Oh, my God, James, we were talking about the Atari Lynx just the other day. We had a friend in high school, Dave Perillo and I. Dave Perillo and I knew a guy in high school who was obsessed with his Atari Lynx. And he was always going on and on about how his Lynx was so much better than the Game Boy because on a Game Boy, you held it like this and your fingers were too close together. Whereas with a Lynx, some of the buttons were here and some of them were here. So he got to spread his hands out. And he was always going on about, my Lynx, my hands aren't cramped like you Game Boy people. You guys are like this. He was always making fun of the buttons on the Game Boy being too close together where his Lynx was spread out. And Dave Perillo and I were actually just talking about that a couple days ago. So it's funny you should bring it up. But yes, I do remember the Lynx. Let's see. Where are we? I fell behind. Geriatric Geek is here. Welcome, Geriatric Geek. Good to see you. Geriatric Geek says he could not agree more about Hawaii. He lived in, how do I pronounce that? Kauai for 3 years. Loved the island, the water, hated the whole economic situation. Eternal Harmony says, have I seen the new Norm Macdonald quarantine interviews on YouTube? Watched the Chevy Chase interview earlier. I need to watch them. You know, I love Norm Macdonald. I think he's like the funniest guy alive. And I haven't seen them yet. Partially because I haven't been watching a lot of YouTube right now. I'm just, I don't know. I've said it before, but I feel like with this whole coronavirus thing, I feel like I have less time. Less time. Like I hear people saying, oh, with all this extra time in your hands, you should check out this movie, this movie, this movie. And I'm like, I got less time, man. I don't have more time because the kids don't have school. So they stay up late. So usually the only time I get to myself is when the kids go to bed. The kids go to bed, I get, watch something. But now with the kids staying up later, that's less time I have to put a movie on or something. So it's like, I can't wait until this is over and the kids start going to school again. And I can get some time back. Anyway. Joey says, I left a comment on your video regarding the New Mutants. I think they should put it out on streaming. Well, you're wrong. They shouldn't. Lisa says, we drove by my movie theater the other day, and I couldn't help but pout and tell it I missed it. It's the one place I can let my brain check out. Oh, Lisa, you know what? We went out in our car. Christine and I went out in our cars separately. She took her car out for 15 minutes. I took my car out for 15 minutes to keep the batteries going. Because, they've been sitting idle. We haven't gone anywhere. So she's like, we got to drive these cars so the batteries don't get idle. We just stayed in the car, didn't get out, didn't go, like, just to drive around and home. And what did I do? I drove by Water Tower Cinema. I had to go by Water Tower Cinema. It's what I do. And Rick is here. Welcome, Rick. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, sir. Rick was live earlier today. James says, say Crazy Joe, ever heard of the Atari Jaguar? I have. That is a popular system, I believe, with gamers. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Dreamcast. Maybe it's both of them. I don't know. I know the Dreamcast has like a big fan following. Lisa says, none of this is fair, Joey. Baseball. We need to practice patience for things to roll back to normal. Yep. I'm thinking it's going to be June. That's my guess. I'm hoping. I'm trying to be optimistic and realistic at the same time. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Woo! All right. Where was I? Punk Nerd says, my Skybox came yesterday. Nathan says, have you watched Contagion since this started? It's like Steven Soderbergh was a psychic. No, I have not. It's kind of the last thing I want to watch, though. It's like I don't know. I'm trying not to think about this if I can help it. But then at the same time, I keep watching the news. So I don't know. Gary says, I know the stay-at-home moms also can't wait for the kids to go back to school. Oh, poor Christine. I mean, she's trying to get her work done, working from home, with the two kids sitting next to her, fighting all day long. It's horrible. They never stop fighting. They never stop fighting. Joey says, put it out there on streaming and then put it in the theaters for people like you who demand it. No, just don't put it out on streaming. Just don't put it. For one thing, that's a kick in the junk to the theaters. That's a real kick in the junk to the theaters. The theaters are in dire straits right now. They're really in trouble. AMC, there's talk AMC may go under completely. The theaters need the people to be there supporting the theaters. And half the people, if they've already seen the thing on Hulu or something, they're not going to go out and pay again to see it. So no, putting it on streaming is just a horrible, horrible idea. Now, some things are going to have to go to streaming because there's not enough release dates now. Like Artemis Fowl's going to streaming, and the Lovebirds. But let's face it, Artemis Fowl and the Lovebirds weren't going to be hits anyway. People weren't going to go see them. The Lovebirds looked awful. Looked really bad. Pucknerd says, I want to do more reviews and get stuff from places like Mill Creek. Advice? Ask them. Just ask them. James says, all right, everybody, I guess who said this line? Jane, stop this. George Jetson. George Jetson. Henry says, my sister has 5 kids. Boom. Oh my God, your sister's in hell right now. I know it, because we only have 2 and we're in hell. This is hell. This is what hell feels like. Being stuck in a house with 2 kids that fight nonstop. 5? Oh my God. It's got to be a nightmare. I feel so bad for her. James says, hey, Joe, ever heard of the Atari 5200? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Nathan says, I have a kid working for me that's a senior, and I feel bad for him. No prom, no graduation ceremony, had a class trip to Disney World canceled. That is a shame. Joey says, movie theaters have been robbing people blind for years. Yeah, movie theaters work on a razor-thin profit margin. So what you call robbing people, they call trying to stay in business. So Down Movie says, Hamilton definitely had some fun this time around. Hamilton? Who's Hamilton? The musical? I heard they were Skyping people and singing their songs. Is that what we're... I don't know. Maybe I missed part of the conversation. Let's see. Sav says, nice t-shirt. Thank you, Sav. I'm going to be wearing this shirt a lot this month because it's April Fool's and there's only 1 month out of the year I could wear this shirt. So basically, I wash my shirts. Then they go to the back of the closet. I pull from the front of the closet. They work their way through. Gives all my shirts a nice even rotation, except in the month of April. Month of April, I wear this. I throw it in the hamper. Then when this comes out of the wash and it's clean again, instead of going to the back, it goes to the front and I wear it right again. Then it goes in the hamper, wash it, goes right to the front, and I do that all month long. So this shirt gets a lot of wear in April because when else am I going to wear it? I can't wear this the rest of the year. So there you go. Henry says she's going crazy. I feel so bad for her. John Hine is here. Welcome, John Hine. I just watched the Jesus Roll spinoff of The Big Lebowski. Holy crap, what a disaster. Oh, man. It is a train wreck of a film. It is so bad. I hated the Jesus Rolls. I hated it. Unfortunate. Henry says that all of April has been a cruel joke. Indeed. And March, too. Down to Movie says Hamilton book. Hamilton books. I'm not familiar with Hamilton books. I will have to look into them. James says, has anybody played the Atari 2600 at night back in the day? I played the Atari 2600. Is At Night the game? I don't know that game. Gary says, movie theaters need to revamp their business model. All of them have been struggling for years. This pandemic isn't helping. But it's not the case. It's not the cause of their financial woes. I mean, it's the way it goes. They make most of their money off concessions. Down Movie says, wish you were wearing your Planet Fitness shirt you showed on Instagram. Oh, well, I could be. It's right around here somewhere. Should I put that on? Hang on a second. Let me find that. All right, so, we all need to wear masks if we go out in public. Mask crusaders working overtime, fighting crime. Anyway, we got to wear masks now, right? Well, Christine said to me, do you have any old t-shirts that I could use to turn into a mask? And I looked and I found an old Planet Fitness shirt. So she used it and she made face masks. And fortunately, the t-shirt was salvageable, so I could still wear this t-shirt. There it is. There's the shirt. As you can see, it's still totally intact. So I could put that shirt on right now. Should I do that? Should I put the shirt on? Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Putting the shirt on. There we go. There. There we go. Got that shirt on. Nice and good. Is that good for you, Rick? Nathan says, that's a great video on YouTube. Lin-Manuel Miranda staged a performance for a little girl who's a big fan. She had tickets for her birthday, and of course it was postponed. Brandon says, I need more crop tops. James says, sorry, Joe, Pac-Man had a cartoon series as well as Dragon's Lair. Thoughts? I have season 2 of Pac-Man on DVD. James says, ever seen the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show? It's a great cartoon. I have. I own it. Let's see. I fell behind here. James says, Joe, thoughts on Saturday Supercade? I like the Donkey Kong segments. It predates the Super Show and Sonic Satam. I like Saturday Supercade. Saturday Supercade, gather round, get your video friends together. Yeah, I loved Saturday Supercade. I used to watch that show. Let's see. Joey says, my friend Jeff calls Planet Fitness Planet Fatness because they serve pizza. Well, there's no better way to eat pizza than on a treadmill, right? Because you're burning it off immediately. You're eating it and it's coming off. It's like it's called maintaining your weight. It's perfect. You know, I always hear people complain about Planet Fitness because they have pizza. Like, oh, they suck. They got pizza. And it's like, well, you don't have to eat it. You don't have to eat it. If you pick up the slice and eat the pizza, don't complain about the pizza. And also, I went there for years. Never once saw a pizza. Never once saw a pizza in that place. I'd read online, oh, they give pizza, they give pizza. Never gave me a pizza. Never even saw a pizza offered in that place. So, I don't know. Gary says, Charlie Brown special about the beer bug. Are you a Corona man, Charlie Brown? Brandon says, how did that not get you a super chat? I don't know, but Super Chat Hippo would love to sing you all a song. Where's that dude? There's that dude who always shows up at Cinema Sickness's live streams and gives the $20 super chats. That guy never comes here. He's never here. Never been here once. I see how it is. Kyle says, what the heck did I just watch? I'm enjoying the live stream, Joe. Should I like auction off this shirt? Should like that be my next thing? Or like have a trivia contest, win Crazy Joe's Planet Fitness shirt? Is that the next contest we're having? You let me know. Let's see. James it says Planet Fitness serves pizza. They should call it Pizza Planet. Yes! Yes, there you go. Cotter says, did I ever watch Community? Cotter, Community is the greatest sitcom of all time. I love Community. And you can now watch every episode on Netflix. It's up on Netflix now. Stav says, I've been watching Star Trek, the animated series. It's a classic. It is a classic. Rick says, I'm heading out, everyone. Have a good night and stay safe. Brandon said he got $50 last night. Was it for that same guy? That same guy who never comes here? Rick is leaving. Bye, Rick. James says, thoughts on Seabert. I actually have an interest in this cartoon. I am not familiar with Seabert. I don't know Seabert. What is Seabert? Punk Nerd's asking best Metallica album. I don't know. I don't really follow Metallica. I'm more of a punk / ska fan. Not so much of a metalhead. So, yeah, I don't really follow many metal bands. Oh, yeah. Rick says they can get the entire Community series on Blu-ray from Mill Creek on Amazon. They can, and they should, because it's a great show. It's a great show. Gary says, Joe, have you ever seen the movie Deep Blue Sea? It's the movie where Sam Jackson gets eaten by a shark. You just spoiled the best part of the movie, man. You just spoiled it. But yeah, no, I've seen it. It is an entertaining film, to say the least. Down movie says, Ordinary World was brutal. Ordinary World, that's a song by Duran Duran, isn't it? I do like Duran Duran. How do you not like Duran Duran? Kyle says, Easter Sunday is a big day for me, Joe. I have a baseball game, and it's actually the biggest opening of all. Oh, good luck. Stay safe. James says there needs to be a Jetsons Meet the Frankenstones. I agree. You know, I'm gonna put this shirt back on because this one does not provide quite the same amount of warmth. Surprise, surprise. It's just not quite the same. There we go. Look at this. I'm like Mr. Rogers, changing my clothes on the air. Who watches Legends of Tomorrow? Did you see the Mr. Parker's cul-de-sac episode recently? That was pretty entertaining. Hey, let's talk about Ezra Miller. You guys see this whole Ezra Miller thing? Ezra Miller video came out of him supposedly attacking someone, grabbing him by the throat, throwing him down. It looked really fake. Like, it didn't look like... It looked like it was a joke because the woman was laughing. And it didn't really look like it was a legitimate thing. But we're hearing today from Variety, no, apparently it was real. Apparently he really went off on this girl, and it really was a real thing where he grabbed her and threw her down. And people are saying that they should drop him from the Flash movie, which is supposed to start filming very soon. And it's a weird situation now that they're in, because if you look at the DC movies, they had a shaky start. They had a real shaky start getting going. But ever since Wonder Woman, it's just been a whole different story. The movies have been getting just better and better. They've been critical hits. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, didn't exactly burn up the box office, but it got good word of mouth and strong reviews from critics. And it's just been win for DC for the last couple of years. And it's like, well, here they go. They turned it around. And the Flash movie sounded like it was going to be another win for them because they had Christina Hodson writing the script. Christina Hodson is one of the most brilliant screenwriters working today. She wrote the Bumblebee movie, which I don't think anyone expected to be as good as it was. That came out and it was amazing. The first really good Transformers movie. And then she wrote Harley Quinn, and that was really good. And she was going to write, she wrote The Flash that was going to shoot next. So I was really anxious to see that. I couldn't wait. But now, if everything is as it appears, and he really did do this and it wasn't a joke, and that's what we're hearing, at least according to Variety, then Warner Brothers really doesn't have much of a choice. That they're going to have to drop him from The Flash. And that's a real problem because they already lost Ben Affleck. And the rumor is they may have lost Henry Cavill. That's never been set in stone because it's not like they recast Superman. They just haven't done anything with Superman. So depending on who you talk to, Henry Cavill's either gone or maybe he'll come back. They just don't have anything for Superman yet. It really kind of depends on who you talk to. Because Henry Cavill and his agent are both saying, no, he's still in. But, we don't know. So they've lost Batman. They might have lost Superman. We know they lost the Joker because Jared Leto isn't going to work with James Gunn. James Gunn and Jared Leto hate each other. And Jared Leto's also been eclipsed by the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. So that right there, Batman and Joker, there's two characters there we're going to have to recast. Superman, possible third. Now Ezra Miller, too. And it begs the question of, well, what do you do now? What do you do? Do you stick another actor in as the Flash playing the Ezra Miller version of the Flash that was going to be in Christina Hodson's script? Or do you rethink everything from square one? I'm thinking they might have to take Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and the Justice League movie and just scrap them and say, this didn't happen. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey. That's the stuff that counts in continuity. Forget the other three. They might have to do that because they've lost everybody. I think the rumor was that the Flash movie was going to do the Flashpoint story, and that they were going to use that to bring in the Robert Pattinson Batman. But now you can't just bring in the Robert Pattinson Batman. You got to bring in a new Flash too. It's a really weird situation they're in, and I feel like Ezra Miller may have really put Warner Brothers and the DC movies in a bad position, single-handedly, because everything was upward momentum. Everything was getting better and doing good, and everything was strong. And then it's like he just came in and like tripped them or something. And they're falling flat, and they're like, how do we pick ourselves? That's what it feels like to me. I'm really curious as to how they handle this. I don't know. It's a very weird situation. Joey says, make John Cena the new Superman. I would like to see Brandon Routh come back. Oh, my Lord. $10 from David Rembert. Thank you, David. Super Chat Hippo, thanks you. I appreciate that. That's for the shirt trick. I don't know there was much of a trick, but I appreciate it. That's overly kind of you. Joey says, nobody cares about Ezra Miller. That's not true. That's not true. He was actually one of the most popular parts of the Justice League movie. People were very happy with his Flash in the Justice League movie. People were really excited when he showed up on Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, people have been very, very excited to see the Ezra Miller Flash movie. So I don't know where you go with this. It just seems like they really hit some bad luck there, because even when they're doing everything right, and they've been doing everything right, some outside force comes in to sabotage them, and it's really unfortunate. Connor says, did I ever see the 1970 Woodstock documentary? I just got it on Blu-ray. I did not. James says, say Crazy Joe, well, I'm not a fan of Super Friends. I honestly prefer Adam West over Olan Soule because Olan made Batman sound like a regular guy. Yeah, see, that's the voice I hear when I think of Batman in my head. I always think of Olan Soule. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to sneeze again. Ooh. Ugh. Jabel says, how was my day? My day was good. How was yours, Jabel? Super Chat Hippo likes you too. Look at him. Oh, Super Chat Hippo. Joey with another crazy statement. Bumblebee was just a ripoff of the Iron Giant. Okay. I honestly think Joey just I don't believe half of what Joey says anymore. I think he's trolling us. I really do think he's trolling us. Oh, wow. It is 10 minutes to 10. I think I got to go in 10 minutes because we are recording episode 6 of the all-new Mega Podtastic podcast. And J2H will be meeting me in 10 minutes on Skype to record that. So I don't know if you guys caught episode 6 or episode 5 of the podcast, but I had special guest Leslie Carrera Rudolph, who played, she's the puppeteer who performs Abby Cadabby, and she was just terrific. She's great. Connor says, what are my thoughts on Return to the Batcave when Adam West and Burt Ward reunited in a TV movie? I remember that. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. Gary says, where did I get Super Chat Hippo? You want the backstory of Super Chat Hippo? Well, the backstory of Super Chat Hippo is I found a bag of doggy toys that my dog doesn't play with anymore. There was a hippo in there that squeaks. And I said, I have a squeaking hippo. So I believe it was Dave Perillo who called him Super Chat Hippo. Dave Perillo was here once for the live stream. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he was sitting here at the bar with me. I don't remember what episode that was. But Dave was the one who gave him the name Super Chat Hippo. So you can thank Dave Perillo for Super Chat Hippo. Maurice says, right before you have to sneeze, I sneezed. It's a contagious sneeze. Lisa says, Joey needs to quest for positivity already. James says, say Crazy Joe, ever see the HBO in space feature presentation logo from the 80s? Probably, but I don't recall it off the top of my head. Does anybody remember? O'Connor says, do I have any of Dave's artwork in my house? Do I have any of Dave's artwork in my house? Do I have any of Dave? Yes, I have Dave's artwork all over my house. Yeah, no, I have got four of Dave's prints hanging in the kitchen alone. I have a painting. And Dave doesn't paint anymore, so this is a rare one. I have a painting that Dave Perillo did back when he was first started off as an artist in my bathroom. And it's a painting of Superman on the toilet that says, Trouble brews at the Fortress of Solitude. But yeah, we have a couple others that we haven't found a place. We haven't found a place for him yet. In fact, down here, I don't have any of Dave's art hanging in the basement. Dave's art's all upstairs, but down here, excuse me, I gotta get my hand out of the way. There we go. I have some of Dave's good friend and colleague, Tom Whalen. I have some of Tom Whalen's art hanging right here as you come down the steps. This is a Masters of the Universe poster that was done by our friend Tom Whalen, who he does a lot of work with Dave. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dave's art. You may be familiar with Tom Whalen's art. So that is hanging right here in the basement. I don't have any of Dave's art in the basement, but I have plenty of it hanging elsewhere. Actually, I do have some of Dave's art over at the computer. Hang on, there is some He-Man and She-Ra, well, She-Ra and Hordak that he did over there. And this actually came with the movie Paranorman. When you bought Paranorman on DVD, they were giving out these art prints that Dave did for Paranorman. So this was official from, who put that out? Universal? Was Paranorman a Universal movie? But Universal was giving those out. All right. Let's see. Lisa says, I believe the hippo was an underrated animal until Jumanji 2. It didn't Jack Black like it. Man, I just watched Jumanji 2 like last week. And I'm finally going to see the third one. I got the third one today. So I'm finally going to be up to date on the Jumanji trilogy. But I just watched the second one for the first time last week. Connor says, do I have it? Oh, no, I already read that. All right, let's see. Connor says, I love his Batman the Animated Series painting. He does some good work, I will say that. Sav says, I remember the Mr. T cartoon. I got it sitting right over here somewhere. Here it is. Boom. Here's the Mr. T cartoon. Only season 1 is available, though. I need the rest of the series. Lisa says, the Great Space Coaster. I love the Great Space Coaster. No Gnu's is good Gnu's with Gary Gnu. Gary says, yeah, Paradorbit was Universal because it was made by Leica, and Leica has a distribution deal with Universal. They also did Kubo and the Two Strings and the Box Trolls. And Punk Nerd says, Rick was talking about the movie Ordinary World with Billy Joe Armstrong that I brought up. I loved it. Joey says, did you see my last comment? Did I see your last comment? Where is it? If it wasn't for me, Joe would have never seen the masterpiece that is Who Let the Dogs Out. Surprisingly, I don't think I would have expected that the song Who Let the Dogs Out had such a crazy history behind it, but it does. So yeah, that is worth checking out. It's a short documentary, though. It was only like about an hour, if I remember correctly. They should put it up on Tubi TV. It's perfect for Tubi TV. Man, you can find some great stuff on Tubi TV. John Hyde says, do you like ABBA? John, when this is all over, I will go out to karaoke again. I haven't been to karaoke in a long time, but one of my go-to karaoke songs is Dancing Queen. You haven't lived until you've seen me perform Dancing Queen. I should put a video up of me doing Dancing Queen, but I would probably get a strike because I don't know the song. Kyle says, how long do I do these? For 1 hour. So we are wrapping it up. I actually got to get going in a couple minutes. And Lisa says, I bought my house 2 years ago and I have nothing on the walls. I need to say F it and put up whatever I want. Well, if you need some pictures, Dave Perillo sells some wonderful art. Joey says, everything should be on Tubi TV as far as I'm concerned. Tubi TV is great, man. It's terrific. Free streaming service, and they got so much content. It's crazy. All right, guys, we are wrapping it up. I want to thank you guys for stopping by again. Really appreciate it. It's always a joy. Should we have a contest? Win Crazy Joe's shirt? Should that be the next one? I mean, after this whole Corona scare, I know you probably don't want anything I got right now. You're like, yo, dude, social distance. I don't want your stuff. And I get it. I understand. But like when this is all over, if someone wants to win Crazy Joe's Corona mask t-shirt, maybe we'll do that. I don't know. So Connor says, keep wearing those pajamas. We keep wearing them all the time. I'm looking forward to the day when we say stop wearing your pajamas, but we're not there yet. All right, Gary has the stream ending joke. Which X-Men crossed the picket line? Match. He didn't want to strike. There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Keep wearing those pajamas.